dear students, if you have any questions, please write it down. So at the end, if you have any query or questions regarding these points, you can ask our speaker. Okay. So please note it down, and whatever you want to inquire, just related to this session, please ask her. Okay. Okay. Now our next question will be, what's the role of goal setting in student life?
This is a very important aspect. Goal setting is one of the very important aspect, especially in a student life. See, the moment you set up a goal, this is how you can detect yourself. You can analyze yourself, how much you have done it in your field, or how much you have, what is your capability, and what is it which is lacking in from your side, which needs to be fulfilled. If you haven't set up the goal, it is not possible. And if someone else is assessing, be it your parent, be it your teacher, you may not agree. So goal setting is a very important aspect of students' life from a very young stage. So how it should be done? It should be done by the parents, and they should say that, look, this is, like for example, realistic goal. What is a realistic goal? It is a fact that when compared to the other factor, that is hard work, especially completing the syllabus, or completing that particular term. So it should be done that in this particular time, maybe 1 month, I'm going to finish it off this much. So the next month, you see, if you haven't finished that much, you should know that what is where I'm lacking. One chapter, two chapters, or whatever, you fix it up depending upon your time availability. And if you haven't done it, you will know how, where I'm lacking and how much I should do, how much more I have to do it. So this kind of this type of thing. And second thing is working towards the set goal, which requires prime focus. So as I have stated, it is very important, and it makes your job relatively easy. It is much more motivating than completing a Herculean task, without doing this. This is in this manner you are completing like small chapters, a lesser troll on you rather than doing a bigger one. I feel this should be the goal setting. And if you haven't done this, you wouldn't know, you wouldn't assess yourself, and you wouldn't believe the assessment of other people also. So this should be done. Like for example, check your it will analyze your what is called efforts. You analyze your strength, your weakness, and you will yourself analyze it without by setting up goals. Without that, it is not possible to know. Okay, this is what I think. It should goes like that.
Means yeah, they have to set the goal, otherwise they are not able to know that what they are actually going to do in their future. So there should
Yeah,
be goal setting.
yeah. So here also, the parent plays a very important role here, because if the child is struggling with his studies or whatever, even this one, the parent should interfere in between and say, look, for example, if this is your first term is coming, you know how many chapters are there for the first term and how much you fix it up for this 15 days or a week or so. And if you haven't done that, how much can you further do it, and what was there something which was lacking, which with which you wouldn't complete that particular goal which you had set up. So with this, the student also will know, and parent will also know how much child can go ahead and how much he's been able to. This habit of setting up goals, the children will assess themselves, and self-assessment is something which is more reliable rather than what I said it assessment by the parent as well as with the teacher will not agree at the end of the day.
Yes, correct, Mrs. Monsela. Now, our next question is how students should prepare from for medical field from lower grades, that is from 7th to 9th.
That's what I stated, as I stated earlier, that is between the parent as well as the teacher, who will identify by a close observation. You see, there are some students, who are not interested in biology, but they have a vast interest in physics and chemistry. And if you garner and if you try to push that student towards biology, he might not, like it, or he will not have that particular interest. I have seen many students, they are not very well with physics. Sorry, they do not like biology at all, but they're very good at physics. And the marks what they get it in biology is 99, 98, like that, because they find it very easy. But physics, although it is tough for them, they might not get good marks also, but they have intense interest, physics or chemistry, or irrespective of the subject. I'm just giving example of biology. So this particular, the student should identify his or her own interest first, irrespective of the marks, whatever he gets it. So marks getting should not be focused much, because even if he gets 98 out of 100 in biology, if his interest is something, even if he gets 80 or 85 in physics or chemistry, and he has intense interest, I think he should go with the interest, that is, he should study physics. It is the interest which, deep interest what he has it, which makes him to go further and further into the field. That is what what I have observed it through other students as well as with my children at home. Then the proper usage of time, maintenance of realistic short-term goals, as I stated earlier. Then continuous self-evaluation by setting up the goals, that where is that I'm lacking and how I should be doing it, what efforts needs to be done, and where did I miss, and some of this sort. Then doing little bit of extra work apart from a school work and normal academics, by increasing it on a weekly basis. We as parents, we need to put little bit go beyond this. For example, if you are not able to understand the concept what is being done at school as well as with your tuitions or whatever, go and clear their concepts through various programs. You have internet programs like short videos. There are so many videos what I see on the YouTube. They try to clear your doubts in such a way that it is cleared. So the parents need to interfere here, and they should say that, and the student should also know that it is not only the teacher who is explaining that concept. He should accept it and agree to it. It can grow. Ultimately, it is the results which is more important. So as I have seen many students, they like chemistry only because they like the teacher, and many of them hate chemistry. Many of them because I ask, why do you chemistry? They say the chemistry teacher was very tough and he was always honking, or he was always behind us for this and that. And mathematics, they find it difficult because they did not clear the concepts earlier, and they have found it was not easy. That's it. Although they are very good at mathematics, but still they don't want to take up so this type of hysteria, so this type of prejudice, whatever they hold, should be cleared. And who can do that better by the interference of the students? The parent, they interfere. They should get into this and find it out what is happening. That is, and they should advise them. And very important factor for the success is to shun note learning, that is, stop memorizing the answers and the concepts for exam level. I want to score this much, let me memorize it, let me go and just pick it up for there in the exam papers and get my marks. This is very dangerous. It may seem inappropriate to several parents with kids in lower grades when they're told that they should instruct their children not to heavily rely on school books, or it's very important that fundamental students, the grades of 10th and 11th, that they will develop on their own. Let me begin. No, from the beginning, the parents should insist the students that, look, please try to understand the concepts, even if you are writing in your language, even if it is not perfectly grammatically perfect. Try constructing the words or in your language rather than going with by hearting the text. So this is also very important. And the last, I think it is when you have a huge syllabus with great amounts of condition, technicalities, exceptions. Of course, the syllabus, unfortunately, is not present fully covered in our books of today. So they have to go a little beyond about that. They shouldn't be strictly present, especially if they want to crack NEET, that is entrance exams like LEAG or JEE. If they are strict only to the concepts what is there in the textbooks, it may not be appropriate. They have to go a little beyond that and building their concepts. And they should be giving priority, understanding those concepts, which helps students realize the true potential of that subject they are in or the field they are in, and to solve a question away from what has been there in the textbook. That is more important. If they see, Saman, I will tell you that this is not easy task. Not every student can do this also. But when you instill it, I have a feeling that every student has the potential to do something or the other in a different field. When you keep pressing this, or when you keep trying to put as a parent as well as a teacher in the school, that look, you can go a little bit away, and can you have, for example, a mathematics, if the student is going with the same formula, with the same technique, if he asks a student, definitely they come up with the new ideas. That is called as research. That is what is called inviting new or generating new ideas, which we call it in our research section. So that should be there. Of course, I believe and I do understand that every student will not do it, but there will be some student with sharp, mentality, with a sharp this one. They do come up, and that's how we identify that young scientist, or that's how we come up. We pick up those people and try to garner them, and then try to take further. So this can be explored to any level or depth by memorizing or adopting a whole concept. Just looking at the elementary discussion in a textbooks is not going to be enough. So they have to be in par with the competitive exams, and as these examinations judge you, so this are there, and then giving some time to advanced learning and mathematic tools. I know this may be a shock, especially I want to tell this to the people who are aspiring medicine. They concentrate more on to biology as well as this one. They forget mathematics and chemistry. They start thinking in their mind somewhere that mathematics, I'm not taking engineering, so I don't need to be perfect at maths, I don't need to be perfect at chemistry. Somewhere if they miss the concepts, they will just lose their interest. This will bring bad results, this will bring bad grades. And that should not be there, and they should think that all constitutes together and give me marks. The importance of mathematics, chemistry, and physics, they should know that they all constitute into scores in the examination, which should not be ignored. And your examinations are undeniably strong roots in mathematics. So
I
that is
have seen
their
some students, they in 12th grade, they have taken biology as well as mathematics, and they did very well. They scored very good marks in mathematics also and in biology also. But there are some kind of students, they cannot just go for, they have to choose, means among these two, means in biology and mathematics. Otherwise, they cannot score good marks. So these all things I think students should know from the beginning.
From the beginning, that's what I said. It is the interest. You cannot just see by marks. Even if it is, for example, if biology may ho sakta hai ki they might have scored little less, but the interest is deep, that we need to see. That the student should also try to identify himself, and the parent as well as the teachers. It's a teamwork. Shaping a child come up with something better is not one man's job. It is a teamwork, I believe.
Yeah, means from the early years of education, they should know that in which subjects they are good. Either they can do simultaneously maths and biology and other subjects or not. So they have to decide. And see, in our career guidance sessions also, we say the students and we guide the students to know what they actually can do. And if in this age they are not able to decide, so at the end of grade 12 they become confused.
That's what I'm telling you. That's why I said that the students as well as the parents, I say students definitely wouldn't know. It is their stage of development, their enjoyment days, or they don't bother much about this. It is the parent who needs to be. A parent cannot be a parent just putting them into school or sending them to a good college or something. They should be behind them with everything on what is going on, what's happening with them. Even if they have gained high marks in a particular subject, of course it is a time to celebrate. But they should think and say, is it his own interest or something else what he's doing? When he's free, is he when he's in his complete full mood, which subject is he taking? Definitely he will take a subject of his own interest, although he must be getting good marks. So that needs to be identified. That can be done by teacher as well as the teacher in coordination with the parent, they should, have a healthy discussion about that particular child.
Yes.
Of course, it is not very easy, but it should be, I think it should be made to exercise.
Yes, yes. Jazakallah khair, Dr. Musina. So this will be our last question. What's the secret mantra you would like to give to our students for success?
The secret mantra is, we have already spoken so much about setting up goals and studying hard and giving concepts, etc., etc. See, I think it is keep on doing your best with whatever you feel that, and most importantly, enjoy your student life. This is very important. See, this might find this. Say you have been doing it. Know that nobody can stop what has to come to you, and nobody can provide you what is not meant for you. This is the most important formula.
Yes.
So you should keep going on. Of course, you put your efforts, you do your mehnat, you do everything, whatever. At the end of the day, it is what has been written for you. It will definitely come to you. And if it is not there for you, whatever you do, nothing can come to. I mean, cannot come to you. So believe that. Put your efforts, leave it on the Almighty, and hope, inshallah, it will be taken care of. So enjoy your student life. This life is the one which you will miss throughout your life, irrespective of whatever you feel today, whatever you call it, is a boring life or tough, or etc., etc. But still, you'll miss it. So enjoy your student life, keep your priorities, and just enjoy your days.
Sister Mohsina, when we were students, we were enjoying too, and we were doing studies also. But nowadays, the parents, when they come for counseling for the students, they say that either if they are going for study, they only study, or if they are going to enjoy, they only enjoy. So they have to learn the balance between enjoying and the hard work and studying.
Yeah, that's what you see. That's what you see. It depends upon the student as well as mostly on the parent. All the kids are like that. The kids, they don't have that, especially with the parents who are capable of providing them the resources, they take everything for granted, and it is our job to continuously, informing them, look, this is not life. And we need to give so many live examples of around people. You look how we have done it. If at all you are successful, how I have struggled and how I have done it. Look at how happily I'm enjoying my life now. If not, for example, look at that person. If he hasn't put his efforts and he was enjoying his life. So like this type of life examples you need to be giving, and you need to continuously see. Parents' job is a very tough job, I feel. So it is we who have to keep telling them, and we should keep reminding them that you need to strike a balance as well as enjoy your life. And they are into the times where the mobile as well as the internet is flooding with so much of wastage of time. They are not going outside. So all these factors are there, but still we need to keep informing them. Rest assured. Inshallah.
Inshallah, inshallah.
Inshallah.
So now I would like to ask students, if you have any doubts or if you have any questions, just raise your hand and I will unmute you. So our guest or sometimes me, we both can answer. If you have any doubt or if you have any questions or queries, please just raise hands in the chat box or just raise hands. So I will just unmute you. Otherwise, we will continue, we will end the program. Yes, anyone? Please raise your hands if you have any questions regarding.
Assalamu alaikum.
Yes.
I have a question.
Okay, who is this?
Midhat.
Okay.
Is it good to be a vet or a normal doctor?
What is the question? Can you repeat? It is good to be
a vet or a normal doctor?
Anything of your own interest. Anything of your own interest. Even if you're an vet, it is absolutely, serving animals is also a great service. A great service. You can be, whatever your interest goes on. You need to be a professional. You need to come up and give something to the society. That is what I feel.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, I have unmuted Rahman Ahmed. You can ask. Or Praveer. Praveer, you have any question? I have unmuted you.
Yes, sir.
Yes, ma'am.
Who is this? Just okay, Riham Hamid. You can ask
Yes.
the question.
How many diseases and syndromes were there recorded in the history of human?
There are so many diseases.
Oh, it means to say how many diseases and histories are
It is
recorded.
asking how many diseases
There
are.
are many. You name it, we have it, and there is no disease, there is no treatment except COVID-19 presently. Every disease has its treatment. There are many.
Okay, our next question will be from Afreen Altaf. Yes, Afreen Altaf.
Assalamu alaikum.
Yes,
Alaikum assalam wa
what is this?
Afreen. Actually, I have a doubt. My parents' dream is that I become a doctor, but I have interest in chemistry. So, what should I do?
You can take up chemistry. You can, you see, for example, if you want to be, then you can teach chemistry. And this teaching is something which you can come up and be a doctor as well as teach. You know, you can take up chemistry as teaching, continue, or both you can do together. For example, if you study medicine, MBBS course, so you can take up even otherwise pharmacy also. Like I have taken it as a pharmaceutical chemistry. So there is a research and analysis wing. You can go there and be a research scientist, or you can teach it to the further professionals. Even if it is medicine, also like fulfilling your parents' dream, also you can do that. But I would suggest that you should garner your own interest and go into the field. If you do that, you can go beyond what is set up.
And you can go for
What is
chemical
desired.
engineering also, because there in engineering there is a separate branch of chemical engineers, and you will find many engineers here in Saudi Arabia. They are
No,
just
but I think her question is her parents want her to be doctor.
okay.
See, you can be you can be clinical pharmacist and you will be called as a doctor. So either both the way you will fulfill your parents' dream as well as your purpose also. You can be a chemist and yet you are called as a doctor, right?
Okay.
I think
Yeah,
that,
excuse me, ma'am.
Yes, Praveen.
yes.
Yeah, ma'am. I just finished 12th with physics, chemistry, maths, and computer. So the preferred line for me would be engineering. But I want to become a chiropractor.
I'm sorry,
So
I have
is
no
it
idea about chiropractor. I'm really sorry, I'm not aware of this. Can you elaborate, Praveen, what is a chiropractor course?
chiropractor means he treats joint pains and the pains in the bones, particular bones of the body. He'll crack the bones and then the disease will be treated.
Okay. Fine, you can go ahead. You can pursue your medicine and you can do, or you need to look out. You know, see, there are many other allied courses. For example, identify the universities which are near to you. There are many courses apart from medicine, as I stated, that gives special training to this type of courses also. I have seen geriatric care is there, pediatric care is there. Like that, there must be some courses. Identify the university which is near to you or which you are aiming at, and then find it out if they have this type of courses, and then you can register and pursue your this one interest. And that's a very
Yes, ma'am.
important and a
Thank
very
you. Yeah,
welcome.
one problem which is there in front of me is that for becoming chiropractor you need to take biology, but I have no interest in bio. So is it possible that I can go into a medical field, but I do not take a biology course?
No, biology is some, you see, biology is the basics of medicine, you know, zoology especially. So you need to start from, how can you not have interest in biology and take up medicine? It is not possible. That's why I told you take a allied course, you just try to check. I'm sure there are so many courses which are coming up now, this one. So they have allied the courses in this time. So definitely there will be. If you go back to medicine, you need to develop interest for biology and start studying zoology from the basics level, which goes beyond, you know, especially the physiology and the things are quite, broad there. You can't have no interest in biology subject and be in medicine. It's like saying that I love engineering, but I don't like maths. It's not possible. Okay.
Yes, yes, you are right.
Okay.
Any other student, please raise your hands because on the screen I cannot see any hand raised. Yes? Okay, Praveer, again.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Walaikum assalam rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
My name is Mosim Mandar Hussain. I have two questions. First question is that
Yeah.
which college is most prestigious in India for medical?
Look, this depends on various factors. Your geographical location, your if you ask generally, I would say there are many. You know, how can we grade anybody? This was we know AIMS, All India Institute of Medical Sciences, is one of the renowned in India, and you have yes, say for example, every state different colleges. AIMS is one of the. Then you have BMC, that is Bangalore Medical College. If you talk about this one, and I think going into that, mostly it depends upon your capacity, how much you strive and how much you balance it, and to get into these colleges, because they're highly, based on merit and all that. If you can try AIMS and BMCs and all other this type of colleges, national level institutes.
Okay, ma'am. The next question is what are the different types of department in medicine?
We have see, I'm not very sure because I'm not related to medicine, as I know, because I have many of the colleagues. I can say physiology department, there is histology is there, then you have parasitology, then you have something related to what is that there are many as such, there you can related to the drugs as well as compatibility studies. There's so many departments you can exercise your this one interest here. I can speak about my field, that is pharmacy. These are some of the things which this one neurophysiology is there, alhamdulillah. Geriatric care is there, anesthesiology departments are there. For that, I think you need to study basics medicine and then go beyond,
Thank you, ma'am.
Okay, our last question will be taken from Hasib Hamid. Hasib, are you there? Because you have raised the hand.
Yes, I wanted to ask ma'am. Ma'am, I am really interested in medicine, and it's my dream to take part in the medical school. But my dream is to study outside. I'm currently living in Saudi Arabia. I don't want to study in India. I'm an Indian. But I want to be selected in the outside country, like in the US or UK or Australia. I want to study my medicine outside of India, because I find more scope outside of India rather than studying in India. I don't find that there is so much scope in India to be selected as a very good doctor. So it's
may I know your name, dear?
Hasib Hamid.
Hasib Hamid. Okay, let me begin, Hasib. This is very what you spoke was all right. That the medicine which is studied, the course which you study from the West or from the America has more package or more importance. Of course, I do agree. But having said that, it is very hard to get into that, as well as it is very expensive. Even if you have that, I think getting into a medical field and studying medicine from India is far beneficial. You ask any person from outside, our syllabus or what the kind of workout we have it. I have personally my own students as well as my friends who go take a PhD in London especially, or this one. For them, they study only that particular aspect. But we as Indians, we study so much of everything. We are all rounders. Like, I feel studying medicine for the basic degree in India is the upright, is the best. And of course, it's your interest. You can go ahead and you can deal it, but studying it give you a greater, expose you to a greater extent, as well as the amount of stress you have, not stress, I mean the amount of exposure you have it over here is far beyond what you get it elsewhere. Of course, then comes, it is more lucrative, it is more, once you come back from there and exercise, you are going to be placed very, no doubt about it. But I think that should be after your degree, finishing off your medicine and then going for a MD course or any courses would be beneficial, in my view, because I have seen many of my friends as well as many people, they prefer studying medicine here in India and then going back for the specialist courses or this type of courses.
Yes, ma'am, I wanted to ask because you know what? I want to study in the outside world because you know I feel like India is just into memorizing and mugging up things. I'm a very conceptual person, so I have noticed that in the US and Australia you can get to learn without even by hearting things, and I really love the way they teach outside, and I feel like I need to be a little extraordinary type of a doctor because I feel like can I get, because I get full marks in biology and all. So is there any chance because of my scholarship I can get selected in the outside world?
Yes. Of course, you can get selected through your SAT score. But again, once again, it is very expensive. The college fees as well as the this one fees. It is, as I know, it is $80,000, I believe, per year. Almost $80,000. If you better, please go ahead and do that. Or if I have to speak, if it is a personal interest, if you have to concept learning and all is fine. But my view, what I would suggest was, I have seen many of them and doing that. And moreover, you see, you are a small, your age is very, you're not matured enough to go and live alone and to have the type of things. I feel you need to be a little more protected. And as a mother or this one also, I feel it is not appropriate for a child to go at this stage and take up such heavy courses on outside. But if it is your interest, please go ahead. And if you are able to bear the cost, it's better. You can go ahead and take up.
Okay, our last question will be from Praveer, because since long time he is telling me, please unmute me. Okay, Praveer, go ahead.
Yes. Good afternoon, ma'am. Actually, it was my brother, big brother, who was in class 12th, and he wanted to ask you about that question. Ma'am, actually, now I am in class presently, and I wanted to become a doctor and a cardio doctor because heart cases are increasing. But what can I do from this age for becoming a doctor?
See, becoming a cardiologist is a specialty, so the basic degree is once again the same, that is medicine. And to get into that, or to achieve that, the same above steps, whatever I said, college and have high scores and then clearing of the NEET and etc. After clearing that, after getting into a medical school in India or wherever, if you are off, and then it is the specialty. So from now onwards, only to study cardiology, there is no specific subject that you need to crack first your degree and then take up a specialty. Of course, cardiology, as you said it, that it is cardiac patients are increasing or this disease is rampant. No, it is not the case. There are many diseases which are very rampant. Like for example, diabetes, that is also there. Then we have many as such. It is just not cardiology, dear. You can take up, and for that you need to have a basic degree. Yeah, Ji.
Okay, now
thank
we will end all the questions. Now we have stopped to accept the questions. Now this is the time to thank Dr. Muhsina. Jazakallah khair for your time. And appreciation is a wonderful thing. It makes what is excellent in others belong to us as well. Thank you, dear sister Dr. Muhsina, and it was very good to work with you and to deal with you. And thank you for an enlightening and inspiring talk and guidance for our aspiring students to be healthcare professionals. We appreciate having this mysterious area clarified. Your advice will be always useful for our students, and the audience of students may not know this, but Mrs. Muhsina, but we owe you a special vote of thanks that you are in touch with us via phone calls and WhatsApp with your busy schedules. You were busy a lot of times, but you have responded. Jazakallah khair, so that you could.
Thank you so much.
We really appreciate that, and I will again thank you for your time and effort. And my dear,
my pleasure.
I thank you all also, dear audience, that you have come over here, and I can't express how grateful I am to have all of you here with us. Sorry for the technical issues. I also would like to thank all the parents for the concern of their children's career. Thank you to all the volunteers for sharing the words so that more students could be benefit. Alhamdulillah, today maximum student length was 42 in the beginning, and some were leaving, and there are some technical problems also. So mostly around 42 to 43 students were there today. May your place be with the great and success be with you always. Wishing you the very best in life. Good luck to all of you. Keep in touch for the upcoming educational events. If you are new, dear students, if you are new, you can join our WhatsApp groups. I know most of the students have already joined our WhatsApp group, and if you don't want to join, or you have some query or regarding our programs, previous programs or something, you can just contact me or my husband. My name is Saman Fatima, and my husband's name is Manzar Qasim. So you can contact us on this mobile numbers, or you can join our Facebook page or our WhatsApp groups. And thank you all of you. And if you want to give me your number so we can add you in our WhatsApp groups, you can leave your numbers in the chats, because every week we are having some educational programs which will be beneficial, inshallah, for the students also and for the parents also. So you can leave your contacts in the chat box. Jazakallah khair everyone for joining. Jazakallah khair Sister Mohsina and Nimra. You have joined us from UAE, and many other students, they are joining us from different parts of the world, from India, from Oman, Bahrain, and from Saudi Arabia also. We thank all of you, and we are, in future also, we are, we think that you will join us. Okay, Jazakallah khair everyone.
Okay, thank you.
Please leave your contacts so we can add you in our WhatsApp group, so that we can inform you about the future programs or the events. Okay. Now I will not end the meeting until you because most of the students are giving their numbers. Okay, we are receiving the contacts. Those who want to leave, just leave your number, so we will add you in the groups. Those who are already in the groups, there is no need to give the contacts, but those who are new, they can give us the contacts so we can add you.